Hey everyone, welcome back to Alchemy with Zero Phase. And this is the second video in this series discussing the different features of XeroGen. And in this one, we're going to go in a little more into detail about prompt generation. So in the previous video, we talked about the input field. This input field is pretty dynamic. You can not enter anything at all. You can put a one-word reference into it. You can copy and paste an entire paragraph or paragraphs of information, and the prompt generator will distill that down into a single prompt. But let's say, for example, we want a fantasy. Sometimes it's good to help specify the medium you want, or it'll just randomly pick a medium. But let's just see what it does here. So we got a wide-angle digital illustration, majestic dragon soaring above, enchanted castle. Okay, let's generate an image from that. When it generates a prompt based on the prompt generator you have selected, it has been designed to keep the prompts at the correct length for the image generator that you are going to be using. What I mean by that is when you have, let's say right now we have Stable Diffusion selected. Stable Diffusion likes their prompts to be about 75 tokens or less. You can go longer than that, but the AI has a tendency to lose focus after that. There are ways around it, but we don't go into that here. So my Stable Diffusion prompt generator is designed to keep the prompts pretty much at that length. Maybe a little longer, maybe a little shorter, depends on what you're asking for. With Midjourney, it will generate prompts that are longer, but they are designed to be a little more narrative driven because that's what Midjourney likes. It'll also include some of the switches down here. Based on the content of this, it'll intuitively select whether it wants to be, the aspect ratio and the styling for that. So you can copy and paste that into Midjourney. You'll get a great image. So you can use these prompts like DALL-E and Leonardo for other image generation packages as well, because a lot of those are a little more narrative driven as well. They like to have kind of a story about what's going on, like we do DALL-E here. It may come up a mystical dragon with iridescent scales soaring through a vibrant sunset sky, wisps of clouds trailing behind. So this is a lot more like a story. And Leonardo, DALL-E, and even Midjourney to a degree loves that. With Stable Diffusion, it doesn't work that way. Stable Diffusion is very descriptive word driven, and there's an order to it too. With Stable Diffusion, you're looking at, it loves having the medium being described first, then your primary focus of the image or character, okay? Then it likes having like a composition or maybe some peripheral stuff, description of the primary character. Then then it goes into like some of the surroundings. It'll go into the surrounding area and details. And then it'll go into lighting and ambience and what the emotion is. It's specifically structured that way. I spent months researching this and understanding how prompts like this are designed and structured. So that's just to give you an idea of what's gone into the effort of making these prompt generators. Again, you can select the number of prompts. Let's generate 3 prompts. Generates it pretty quick. It uses ChatGPT or the GPT API on the back end. More specifically now, since they've released the GPT 4.0 mini, we are using that. And I've actually found it does a really good job, much better than 3.5 Turbo did at generating the prompts in the quality of the prompts. Yes, you can generate multiple images at a time. As you can see down here, it gives you an idea of how many are currently generating right now. Okay, so we have the ability to, let's just dive into the next one down here. So analyzing an image. Let's say you have an image that you really like. You want to kind of duplicate that image. Not necessarily exactly, but you want to duplicate kind of the style, the layout or whatever. Like this one's pretty cool, but I don't know, maybe that one. Let's just generate some random prompts here, and we'll show you what I mean by this. So we're just going to generate some random images here, see if we can get something that looks really good. We'll try to duplicate it. That was pretty cool. Nice. That one's cool too. I like that one. We're going to drag that one over into the drop box right here, drop down or the drop area. You can also click it. It'll give you the ability to browse for an image. This can be any image. It doesn't even have to be AI generated. Drop it in there and hit analyze. What this does is it takes that image, sends it up to our backend, obviously, and then up to the GPT-4o Mini Vision model, or the vision side of it. And it will generate prompts based on what you have selected here of that image. So let's go generate these images and see how many of them look like, similar to this image here. Yep, there we go. Yeah, it does such a good job at being able to create those prompts from that. Like that one's even closer to the original than the other ones were. So, very cool tool. Very cool tool. The style and trend were features of my original prompt, seed prompt that I would use. They were kind of switches that you'd turn off or you'd use in your request to get a artist reference or a trending website. So if we put in that and hit generate prompt, it should include, so in style of Claude Monet, so it did include an artist reference there. If we click this one, it should include trending on ArtStation, and it also included in the style of an artist there. So I think that's actually worked better. It used to not work so well, but since I'm using the GPT-4o Mini model, it actually has been working very well every time. So those are interesting features to add. I was going to remove them, but it seems to be working a lot more steady now, so I'm going to probably leave them in. Modify prompts. So we can take this and actually modify whatever prompts you have here. So let's say we don't want the trending on ArtStation. We could say remove trending information. Hit modify prompts. And this is great if you have like 10 prompts, you want to modify them all at the same time. And let's say we want to change this to professional photography. Hit modify prompts. I'm only doing this on one prompt, which is kind of, it's not, how do I put this? Using this on one prompt is really not, unless you're making some sort of a sophisticated request, not really required. You can come over here and just edit it. I could have removed the trending on whatever manually. But if you have, like I said, if you have 10 prompts and you're working to modify all those prompts at the same time, it's really nice to have this because then you can modify them all at the same time. So we changed that one to photography. Let's do something a little more sophisticated. So what do we have? We have a vibrant sunflower field under swirling skies. Let's add a beautiful woman in a red dress in the sunflower field. So beautiful woman in a red dress walking through vibrant sunflower fields. So let's say we want to include is a bright blue sky. Include, let's say, add clouds. And really the point of this, what I'm trying to show you is you have the ability to make natural language requests and it will automatically and intuitively modify the prompt and maintain the structure for you, so you're not having to worry about, did I get this in the right order? How do I modify this? What's going to be the best prompt? So if I were to generate an image from that, you're going to see that we should have a woman in a red dress and a sunflower field with some clouds in the sky. So let's see what it does. Yeah, there you go. We can do something very particular. We could say change dress to floral. Again, working with one prompt, it's kind of redundant to do that. I could have just typed in floral dress. But when you're working with 5, 10, or 5, 6, 7, up to 10 prompts, saves you a lot of time. Okay, down here we have our pre-prompt and post-prompt options. This gives you the ability to include things at the beginning and end of the prompts that are generated, or at the beginning and or end of your request before you send it. So let me show you an example here. We're going to say high quality. And then in the configuration, or the thing that we want to include at the beginning or end, we are going to say 8K extreme detail focused high res. I don't know, what's something else people like to put in there, 16K, whatever. So we're going to do that. So it adds it into the drop-down menus here. And what we can do with this, let's say we want to include that at the beginning of each and every prompt that we ever generate. So we're going to add it to the pre-prompt option here. We're going to generate 5 prompts, and we're just going to say digital illustration of a old man sitting in an old English tavern. Hit generate. This will give us 5 prompts, and did that pretty quick. So we have 5 prompts here, and it added this is just the title, but it added the content of that to the beginning. So we have 8K extreme detail focused high res 16K, and then it goes into the rest of it. So now we can generate an image from that. And we should get something that looks great. Yeah, that looks amazing. I don't know about the 2 fireplaces, it's a little weird, but that works. So, and you can add that to the end. Now, here's where this gets interesting. Let's say I don't want it necessarily at the beginning, but I want that to be part of my request. I can select this, and it'll include the details of that particular option as part of the request, and allows the AI to more intuitively include those details. So wide angle 16K digital illustration. So we have detailed textures and a lot of other things here that go into that. So now we generate that. As you can see, it gave us a really good picture. So a lot of people, or the original request for this was so people could include LoRa commands and tags. They add those in here, and then they can add their LoRas to the end. And if the LoRa is part of, and if you generate the image here, it might be part of it, it might not be. But let's say you generate 5 prompts, and you have a particular LoRa that you use in your image generation package. So you generate your prompt. You don't want to have to type that in on every single one of them. And trying to include it up here doesn't necessarily work because you're leaving it up to the AI. So down here, let's say we put in a LoRa. We'll just call it LoRa 1. And yes, it looks something like this usually. LoRa colon text colon 1. Something like that. Okay. Then you just drop that in at the end there and hit generate prompts. Should generate prompts, and it'll include that LoRa at the end of each and every prompt that you generated. Now you're going to be adding a lot of different things in here. I've made it so that you can save this as a CSV file, and then when you come back, because when you leave the website, refresh it, whatever, everything gets cleared out. Nothing gets saved. So then you can drag that CSV file and drop it right there, and it populates these drop-down menus again. Okay. So let's go into one more aspect of creating prompts, and that is the artist and options reference. This is something that's been here since I originally designed this web page. It gives you access to a wide range of reference material. We have almost 1,200 different artists that with 4 sample images each. So you can come in here and see, oh, you know, I like that style, that's nice. And if you select the name, it populates it down here, the drop down. And then if you generate some prompts, you know, let's say we keep these here, let's generate some prompts from that. Yeah, it looks like I left that there, let's get rid of that. And then what we get, we should, let's see, I know in the previous prompts it just generated it, included it. It doesn't look like it included it in this one. So we're going to come over here, we're going to make sure that's selected and generate it again. It's a little bit of the weird thing with the artist is it kind of correlates with that switch that I have. So now we have an illustration in the style of Mort Kunzler. So we should get something that gives you kind of this same fashion here, or the same style. or not. And it could deal with a lot of the details in here. And it may be that this particular style of image, he doesn't have much in the way of reference on it. That is why I do 4 different references here. Sometimes it has it, sometimes it doesn't. Down here you can scroll between the pages. So you have a page number reference so you can quickly get to what you want. This is one of the cooler things that I've included with this, and it took a while to figure out how to do this. So the AI, or I should say image generators, typically like a good description of a color. And being able to give people the option of selecting a color and then somehow translating that to the AI in a way that it will know how to include that color was interesting. And allowing people to visually pick the color, it was, I'll just say it wasn't easy. But when you select color there, it is using AI in the back end to interpret the, I don't remember if it was the RGB color codes or whatever. AI understands what each of those are, and it gives you a good name. I basically instructed it to give you a good descriptive name of that color. So if I wanted to generate an image using that kind of as a color theme, let's generate some prompts from that. Should include that color as part of the prompt. And so if we come in here, yeah, let's shut this off for right now. But it did, deep periwinkle blue accents. So let's generate an image from that and you'll see what I mean. So we get the periwinkle blue coat here. It's not bad. But you can add multiple colors in there. Let's say we want to add something along the lines of like a lavender. Vivid magenta. Okay, that works too. We should be able to incorporate that into this deep periwinkle and vivid magenta accents. So let's just do that. Sometimes it assigns it to specific items in the prompt. Sometimes it just says accents. Other times it does other things. See? Gives you the ability to kind of really control some of the color aspects of your image or the color theme. Makes for a very fun way of creating new ideas and new imagery. So down here, let's clear this out. We have a wide range of different themes, items, and other things that you can pick from that you can incorporate into your prompt. So let's say eyes, we want, I don't know, let's say deep double eyelid, dull eyes, expressive, gentle, glassy, glossy, green. I'm going to reduce this down to 1 so we can do this a little quicker. Yep, twinkling green eyes. Let's see if it even does it. I mean, the green eyes are there. Whether we see them or not is another thing. Yeah, they are a little green there. We'll dive into how you can actually manipulate that on an individual level. But yeah, so you can basically pick a lot of different options here. And actions, maybe he's braiding something, maybe he is if he's braiding something, that'll be something with his hands. So an expression, maybe he is agitated. I don't know. Let's see if it generates something with all those in it. So we have old man sitting at a wooden table in an old English tavern, roll thirds, weathered face, deep green eyes, braiding fingers, fidgeting, agitated expression. Let's just see what that looks like. So it did include all of those options. You can select multiple options in each one, and it'll try to incorporate those. So he does have kind of that look about him, right? Ascot tie, I'm not sure exactly what that is. He's got some braids there, that's interesting. Well, look at that. Very kind of intense. He's definitely got the green eyes going on there. Yeah. I think this is very fun. This is a fun option to add. and has become very useful in being able to come up with ideas and find inspiration. Okay, so for prompt generation, that's really what there is to it. You can edit these. You can get rid of that. If you have a single field here, you can type in whatever you want and just generate images from that. So, okay, in the next video, we'll dive into the advanced image generation settings and how to utilize those, especially the in-painting, to get some very cool pictures, to change your images and get what you want. Thanks for joining me now. We'll talk to you next time.